When you have well over $60 million at stake in a fight, he did look like he was holding back a little bit. He was trying everything he possibly could to have those killer eyes, that stoic look, that super serious appearance. He tried everything he could, but at the same time, you could also look in his eyes as he was walking down that aisle like, what the heck am I doing? He's like, what am I doing here? Why am I doing this right now? For Paul, it was a lose-lose situation. If he had lost to Tyson, people would have been like, look at that, all that talk that you did, you got knocked out by a 60-year-old man. Tyson wasn't 37, 47, but he was 57 years old. Taylor and Serena was actually the main event, in my opinion, the real main. They should have put Tyson and Paul first. They should have got that out of the way. Boy, oh boy, I could have went to bed a little early last night, but much like most of the world, I was hoodwinked into staying up to nearly midnight to watch Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. Well, let me just go ahead and give my thoughts on this event that took place last night. First of all, I want to say that I'm inspired. I really am inspired. Like, if there's anything that I took away from this whole buildup, from this whole process, is the fact that here we have a 57-year-old Mike Tyson who seemed to have been living his best life now, getting high, doing podcasts, joking around, looked like he had found some peace in his life, and decided he wanted to, be that old dog again, bring that young lion back and start training hard and start to push himself to the limits to bring back his physique, which I feel like, respectively, he looked very good for his age. For some of you guys out there who may be, 50 years old, close to 60 years old, you should look at Mike and be like, look, anything that you put your mind to, you can achieve it. As far as like building a physique. But then there's reality as well. Now, let me just go ahead and say that my expectations for that fight were not very, very, very high. Here you have a 27-year-old kid who's extremely annoying, by the way, and who seems to avoid opponents that would actually give him a challenge. And besides, I think I can beat Mike Tyson. Like, when you say something like that, are you saying it from a standpoint is I can beat Mike Tyson based on what I've seen him do in the past? Or I can beat Mike Tyson just where he is right now? Now, I really believe that that's where Jake Paul was coming from. I do not think, he's 27. There's no way he even remembers Tyson in his prime. He's very young, okay? There's no way he could possibly believe in his head, unless he's got some sort of mental illness, which he looked like he probably does, that he could be a prime Mike Tyson. Like, I think all of us know that that's just not going to happen. But anyway, let me just say those 8 rounds were just painful to watch. Like, right out of the gate, you saw how slow and uncoordinated Tyson's legs were. Now, he tried everything he possibly could to make it seem like, oh, I'm not slow, I'm still, I'm still shooking and jiving, I'm still bobbing my head. And yeah, he did dodge a couple of punches, but when it was all said and done, he only landed 18. 18 shots out of an 8-round bout. There were some times you saw Tyson getting tired. There were some times you saw him. He just was a shadow of himself. And the thing is, we love events like this because I think that the kid in us wants to believe that something that we once adored, something that we once cherished, something that we once, aspired to be like or looked up to could possibly overcome the odds, that could possibly defeat youth, that could possibly, show these young punks a lesson. That was what a lot of the older generation was thinking. Okay, now I'm not gonna lie to you. There's no way that Jake Paul could possibly remember a Mike in his prime, because when Mike was in his prime, I was like maybe 4 or 5 years old myself. Honestly, I'll be 39 years old next week. So yeah, there's no way that Paul even knows. He doesn't even know this man. He doesn't even know what he's capable of, other than the videos and the tapes and all that stuff on YouTube. He's a YouTuber. He was literally born into this age of YouTube. None of us know what that is. Like when we were coming up, we didn't have YouTube. We barely had the internet. So you had the newspaper. That's what you had back in the day. But nonetheless, some people believe that the fight was scripted. Some people believe that Mike was holding back. I mean, he very well could be holding back. But let me tell you all this. When you have well over $60 million at stake in a fight, 40 million going to Paul, 20 million going to Mike Tyson. Win or lose, they both were getting paid. I don't believe that it would have bothered either of them if either of them had a loss, but I just believe, honestly, that Mike, he did look like he was holding back a little bit. Just a little bit. But when you were looking in the ring and you looked at him, he just looked, it was sad. It just looked sad. He looked like he didn't belong there. He was walking down the aisle. You could look into his eyes and you could tell he was trying everything he could to duplicate that Iron Mike persona. He was trying everything he possibly could to have those killer eyes, that stoic look, that super serious appearance. He tried everything he could, but at the same time, you could also look in his eyes as he was walking down that aisle like, what the heck am I doing? Like, what am I doing here? Why am I doing this right now? And a lot of people say, well, Mike needs the money. He needs the money. Look, why does it seem like everybody's an expert on everything now? You don't know this man's personal accountant. You don't know what he got going on in his life. How you know Mike Tyson really needs the money? You need the money. Those of you that are out here criticizing somebody saying they need the money, maybe you need the money. I don't know. How do you know he needs the money? You don't know what this man got going on. You don't know. It don't look like he's doing bad, but we never know what's going on in somebody's personal life. But whether he needed the money or he didn't need the money, he got the money. That's all that counts. And when you have that much money at stake, there has to be some level of strings being pulled in the background, okay? You don't just get that amount of money being yourself. You don't. For Paul, it was a lose-lose situation. If he had a loss to Tyson, people would have been like, look at that. All that talk that you did, you got knocked out by a 60-year-old man. It's time for you to hang it up. You suck, blah, 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 blah. If he had knocked Mike Tyson out, everybody would have hated him. Everyone would have hated him. Like, oh, you knocked out old Mike Tyson. You knocked out somebody's grandfather. You knocked out somebody's father. You suck. You should hang it up. So I think the only way he could have saved face and still It's still a lose for him. It's by not knocking him out, which he probably could have, maybe, because it did look like he was significantly faster than Mike Tyson. Look, I am, like I said, I'm 38. Can I compete with my 28-year-old self? I feel like I could in certain aspects. I really do. I feel like I'm a lot more wiser. I feel like I'm a lot more powerful. But it's, as far as like speed and stuff like that, I don't know, man. I ain't getting no faster. But I also don't do a lot of endurance training either. If I did, maybe that would be a different story. But the fact is, Tyson wasn't 37, 47, but he was 57 years old. And most of us wouldn't even dream of fighting somebody of that age. Even though, like, biologically speaking, like, to be in your 50s is not necessarily old. It's more like middle age. And you really don't earn that title of being old until you're over 65 to 70 years old. And we all know he's not your average 57-year-old man. But there was a lot of people out here who had hope. They were like, Mike's finna knock him out. You don't know who you messing with. The saying goes as you're only as good as your last fight. And we're not really going to count that fight against him and Roy Jones. That was pretty even off. That really wasn't entertaining either. But his last fight was darn near 20 years ago. Like, 2005? 19 years ago, 2005. That was his last, like, real expedition. So, yeah, to say the least, it was a waste of time. It was very disappointing. Taylor and Serena was actually the main event, in my opinion, the real main event. It took the ladies. Man, that fight right there, wow. They should have put Tyson and Paul first. They should have got that out of the way. Because maybe Mike would have been able to move a little bit more faster if he was out there a little bit earlier. Maybe, but the results probably would have still been the same. And the headline that people are saying and that Jake Paul is saying is that, I beat Mike Tyson. I can say I beat Mike Tyson. And that just goes to show you how ridiculous the younger generation is. Like, it doesn't matter how you do it, doesn't matter when you do it or what you do. I just say that you did, just because you did. Like, there's no honor, there's no integrity. Nobody's going to take that seriously. And no one's going to take Jake Paul seriously now after that. Like, I really can't see anybody taking him seriously in the ring for going through with that. Because Mike Tyson verbally said that he would never fight Muhammad Ali. Like, he just wouldn't fight Muhammad Ali. He wouldn't do it. Because we know if he had fought Muhammad Ali for real, he would have knocked Ali out. But he had enough respect, he had enough love, he had enough admiration for Muhammad Ali to, like, say, nah, man, I would never do it. But Muhammad Ali, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, you don't want these hands. I'm like, you right, Uncle. No, Uncle, I don't want them hands. You got that. Just being humble with respecting those that paved the way before him. But Jake Paul, he there's no respect. He said all of that stuff, gave all those accolades and all them flowers after the fight. Mike is an icon, and I look up to him and respect him a little bit. If you would have respected him and you would have really looked up to him the way that you say you did, then you would have never went through with that fight. But because Jake Paul cares more about his subscribers, his followers, his social media, and his image, he just does anything. The Paul brothers are just very controversial people, and it sucks that we have a world to where people out here actually give these people the spotlight and give them the platform. But that's 2024, and it seems to be 2025. But anyway, don't bother going back watching that fight. Just read about it. I wouldn't even read about it. It was however you thought it went, that's how it went. I'm just going to say that. All right. Y'all take it easy. God bless. If you like the video, like it, subscribe, comment. How did you feel about seeing 57-year-old Mike in the ring again with 27-year-old or 58-year-old Mike? I don't know. They kept saying he was 60, 57, 58. Oh, Mike. How'd you feel about him being in the ring with Paul? Let me know. Peace.